Welcome back to Always Real Talk, and we're here talking about good old marijuana, weed, cannabis. I call it whatever you want to. Pot. You want to dress it up, right? This cannabis, this cannabis is good for you. It's gonna, help you if you're sick. And I'm like, no, we know that the CBD oil is what's used for it's the medical part of that actually works, right? But now we convince everyone, no, we need to smoke. You don't need that oil. You need to smoke. And so now we're talking about the SAFE Act, and we've talked a little bit, and I do understand your point. Talk about Wood. I can't even say it anymore, but that place is Prince George's County.
Prince George's County.
And we love all those people in Prince George's County and Montgomery County and Fairfax County. Do we call like Alexandria? Do they award? Do they get award?
No.
Oh, they don't get award.
They don't get award.
Fairfax, do they get award?
No, they don't get award.
Oh, okay. God, you have to really qualify to get that.
Yeah.
That destination. Huh? Well, back to the weed. We were talking and we were just saying, this employment and marijuana is just something that we really have to take a look at. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to, smoke. Let's make sure we can smoke. Cause all the issues we have going on in the city, we're gonna figure out how to get this smoking thing going on. We gotta get this smoking right? We gotta let this weed go on every corner. There's only 8 of them, right? 8 of them. And the question becomes, more and more people are smoking. Now we're giving them access to cleaner options, right? And we're saying smoke all you want to. Let's just, everybody get nice and high. But the question I have, what are we doing with our kids? And it has to be a valid question. Because now you have people who can't get jobs because they can't pass drug tests. Now if we walk outside right now, took our cameras out there, set some chairs up and had this show outside on 8th Street, we would smell weed for a good 6 hours out of the 10 hours we were out there.
Wow.
Right?
Well.
And we would see people that look fairly young smell like weed. So the question I have for you, are you hearing anything about these young folks or young adults? Because people say young folks. I remember 15 and 16, that was, young to me. If you're 21, Jeff, you're not young. You're a grown adult. You're an adult, right?
Man.
You're a grown man. So, but they can't get jobs. What are you hearing about?
See, this is where the level of responsibility has to step up. If you want a job in D.C. and you know that you're not supposed to be smoking weed or pot and getting high, and the day of the interview you go in there and then you come to the interview high, and then you have to take the drug test and the drug test is on a particular day, but you decide to get high the day before, you got to be responsible. If you are not responsible at that level, then you don't deserve a job.
Wow.
That's real talk.
Is that real talk?
Yeah.
Is that talk or real talk?
No, that was real talk.
That's he kept it real.
But there's another issue too, and that is criminal records, because everyone knows that it's really easy to get picked up for having a joint on the street or whatever, and those go on your record. Now the mayor is going to seal those records, and that's a good fair shot for people. You got to pass your drug test. But what about people who are going to buy legal marijuana and then take them back to federally subsidized housing developments where it's illegal to smoke weed anywhere? And I was reading a story just the other day of a guy, and he's got his routine. He goes down to the corner and he gets his smoke on down there. He has to get off his own property, his own community. So is it going to make it easier for people to possibly get in trouble? And then that's going to have some coordination with law enforcement and see how hard the housing authority police are going to go at it.
They're going to go at it. Now, I want to come back to your point. Because I know there's some out there, and they're probably tweeting and putting comments, and you can smoke legally.
Yes.
And you could smoke on Friday, because your interview is not till Wednesday. But if you're smoking, it stays in your system.
Right.
And if I'm at home, and now it's legal to have weed, and people can smoke in their house, and I'm 18 years old living at home, I don't have a choice. I got to be there. The weed's going to be in your system. And so you're saying that in order to get a job, you have to not be able to smoke.
Well, how often do they? How often do you get drug tested these days?
Well,
newspapers used to drug test. At least 2, maybe 3 of the jobs I've had in the newspaper business were tested. But I don't know if you go to Best Buy or You go get a job at Walmart, do they drug test you?
I don't know, do they drug test in the Wilson building? All
Oh,
those
that's
people passing these
interesting.
laws?
Oh, that is interesting.
Oh, yeah, I know, I'm just saying.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
if you work
Public
for,
trust maybe needs to be guarded.
if you're working for
You
the
would never
government,
really know.
let
But yeah.
me say, if you're working for the government, if you want a job at MPD,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
you
of
want,
course.
right, you want
Law
a job at the
enforcement,
firefight,
first,
you want a
first
teacher,
responders,
the
yeah.
hospital, you know, a lot of these restaurants are now saying, hey, let's see what you can, you know, because they don't want you coming in with high. If you want to go work at a CVS, if you want to go, I mean, everyone, if you want to work on any construction site, if you want to, all these jobs, I think like 80% of the jobs are testing for substance
And
abuse.
they're not doing that because of marijuana. They want to make sure that their workers are ready to work, can work cogently, psychologically, and physically, and not worrying about being higher.
You are just trying to put some lipstick on that thing. You know daggone well that if these people, we just sat here and said if we go outside, we smell marijuana all the time. So they're not going to get a job. Those jobs, they're not, if you're smoking and you're trying to get one, job not for you. So you got to make a choice. You want to smoke, you want a job. Right?
That's right.
Am I
That's right.
I
That's
mean,
right.
So
And
even though
this-
they're making it legal, and even though they're telling you can get it on any corner you want to get it on now, well, eight different, right?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
though they got the different, now they have different, you know, you want the one to make you sleepy, you want the one to make you laugh, you know, right?
Yeah.
We give you all these options now,
Yeah.
but we're saying to you, you now, before it was legal,
Mm-hmm.
we couldn't get people to stop smoking so they can get these jobs. Or you can't even go through a training program.
Right.
You
Right.
can't even get trained for a job if you have weed in your system.
Mhm.
And we need to do a better job.
But
It's
what
just not
about criminal
as a city.
records though? Because I think that there's a large population of people who need work but who have some sort of conviction. And those people have a hard time finding work because of ban the box. They don't enforce it. There's online applications.
That's
And
true.
you go all the way, I did it for the story. I went and applied for a job at, I don't know, Costco or something. Sorry, Costco, but you know, and I get to the point where it asks you that question that it's not supposed to ask you, and that and they ask you in any number of ways, but it's basically trying to screen out people with a criminal record.
Oh, well.
So, you know, I think they go hand in hand, really. If you're gonna, as the mayor says, if you really want to try to lift up people in an economic sense and lead to wealth, revenue creation, and jobs, I think you got to do both. I think you got to enforce ban the box.
So,
You know?
so you got to enforce ban bonds.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give people more access to that weed, that pot. They got to have some more of that.
Because the people that are smoking pot, the people that are smoking pot.
Let's get access to that weed and that pot.
Well, there's individual responsibility. You know that if you want a job working as a cop or a firefighter or in the hospital, as you just said, you know you don't need to have weed in your system, then you don't need to go to the job interview or go to the drug test with weed. That is individual responsibility.
I know, you should just stay home. Stay home and collect that, collect some of those free benefits that's handed out. Keep smoking that weed.
No.
This kid's good. I mean, what are we saying, right? If I smoke weed and people act like the weed is not addictive. And I gotta be the devil. People act like weed is not weed. It has some sort of addiction to it. People get high and they like to get high. So if I like to get high and I got a choice of getting high or figuring out how to get a job and I can't get a job, or I can't get a job and I'm unemployable, then what happens? I apply for what? Benefits.
Yeah.
Right?
There's
So if
something
my
else-
benefits, I get my benefits though, right?
In the district you will, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something else that we're not talking about here, and that marijuana is a form of currency in the drug trade. And I've done a lot of reporting on drug trafficking and in Baltimore and in Los Angeles, a lot of federal court records, and you commonly see marijuana as sort of the second or third tier down of something that people are selling. It could be guns, it could be heroin, and then but the marijuana is almost like cash. Plus people are using it in the drug trade as well. So, you know, if you're making it easier to get it on the street legally, are you going to feed that stream? And is the black market, is the underground market for marijuana, are you creating a competition? If you're going to tax legal marijuana, well, what's the underground market going to do? You know, lower their prices? Now you're competing with, and the argument is there that if, that we're losing out on revenue either way, so we might as well be getting in on it. But I don't know how much of that they've anticipated. Really.
My understanding, that's an excellent point, and my understanding is that Philip Morris is controlling all of the marijuana in Canada.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, we'll have to double check that, but think about that. So who's really going to control it? Who, less people are smoking cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes is down. Who has the facilities to cultivate marijuana at a greater scale? Of course, those people that have actually been, So it's just interesting to see what are we making all of this legal for. And I support the fact that we should tax it because I think it's important if people are out here smoking and it's non-taxable. I support the fact out of everything that the district should be able to do what it wants to do, just like the rest of these states out here. The district should be a state, but we should be able, and our citizens should be able to vote on something, and we should be able to uphold it, and Congress should not interfere. But do I think that that we should just let everyone know, hey, it's okay to get high, it's okay. I mean, I got kids, and they just say, look, Dad, everyone's smoking. They smoking, there's nothing wrong with smoking. It's not illegal, there's nothing wrong with it. And to me, I'm not sure what message we're sending to our young folks yet. But when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about cannabis, but we're going to go right on into this the decrease in the homeless population, what the mayor and the administration has done to reduce homelessness amongst families in the District of Columbia, and what more we got to do to continue to make that thing better. We'll be right back. Here at Always Real Talk, we are committed to giving all the exposure to our local and small businesses, supporting our entrepreneurs that are out here in the community making a difference. And today, as you can see, we're supporting the one and only District Certified. We want to make sure you go out. Go to his website. What's your website?
www.districtcertified.city.
Here we are, young man out here making a difference, creating a brand, but not only a brand that people are wearing. If it's Always Real Talk, it's going to be real. Welcome back to Always Real Talk. We're having a lively conversation really about homeless families and what a great job the city has done as it relates to tackling the issues. It's a popular and unpopular thing to do, right? Everybody wants to do it. Nobody wants to really have the homeless population near them. But
that's right.
But everyone wants them to go somewhere. Oh man, we got to help the people. Oh, it feels so bad. It feels so terrible. But no, not right here. They can go over there. Go where someone's not paying attention. And the mayor has figured out how to really deal with this issue, and I think it's going to get tougher when you have to select these 3 locations. And I think that the administration needs all the support and to make those decisions and just do it, right? Because no one's going to be happy. If it was easy, somebody would have done it 30 years ago. It hasn't been done. What are you hearing about the family of the single homeless population? Families, we know we've done a good job. You was mentioning earlier about the single men or the single individuals. What are you hearing?
Those are the guys I see in my neighborhood, and some of them, I've gotten to know a couple of them. Some of them stay at somebody's house. One guy who came around and did a little raking and stuff like that, he got some tools and he started to try to build up his own little neighborhood practice. He got a place to stay, with a friend or something. He just as easily could hit hard times or relapse or a death in the family or whatever, and he's vulnerable, and he's older than me. I'm in my 50s, and this guy's an older man who is out there raking leaves, going door to door, knocking, trying to get back on his feet, sleeping at a friend's house. He could get put out at any time. And I think the single male population, and that's why we're seeing that rise, because there's not a long-term housing option for these guys. They might be able to get some shelter, they might be able to get something short-term, but that's where the investment, needs to be made.
Well, we're going to be talking later on in the week just about Department of Employment Services, about making sure and what are we doing to take individuals who want to do better, getting them training so they can do better. Now, we've seen that people are getting training, but then they still can't get a job.
Right.
People who had a job really don't want to hire them, right? And they think this charity and they don't want to hire them, and they'll find every reason not to hire someone who just came through a training program, who really is trained, right? So they really are trained, but they can't get a job because they can't pass a drug test, or they can't get a job because they check in the box, or they can't get a job because the employer really doesn't want to hire him at all.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something we'll be tackling later on this week. But what is your thoughts that you're hearing around just in general? Because it's just not Washington D.C. It's the region.
Yes, it is.
And I think that your perspective is important. What are you hearing about the region?
Well, the thing is that once upon a time, D.C. was the preferred place for a homeless person because homeless people had such benefits coming here. All they had to do was just step across Southern Avenue or Eastern Avenue, and then you were taken care of.
Services.
Yes, in terms of services. Montgomery County is really stepping up in terms of helping its homeless population. Prince George's is a little bit behind, but it is stepping up too. Not at the level of Montgomery County, but it is stepping up. In terms of Virginia, it's still trying to acknowledge the problem, particularly in Alexandria and in Arlington and in Fairfax, because those are wealthier areas and you tend to have less people in that situation, even though you do have people who are homeless out there. But it is a regional problem, but it's a problem that is in decline, and it needs to stay in decline. And that is the most important thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about 2020 and what's going on. What are we hearing in the streets on 2020? So we'll be right back with 2020 Local right here at Always Real Talk.
Hi, I'm Anthony Bowling with the Anthony Bowling Group, and I want to invite you out May 20th to come to the Country Club at Woodmore to support the Global Scholars Foundation first annual charity celebrity golf tournament. We're going to be raising $75,000 to support GSF as they support 20 scholars here on their trip this year to Rome, Egypt, and Ethiopia. Again, I'm Anthony Bowling with the Anthony Bowling Group. Come support us and have a great day. Thank you. Bye.
Welcome back to Always Real Talk. We're still sitting in here with two good friends. We got James Wright from the Informer newspaper, and we have Jeff Anderson from District Digg. Now, both of you in the streets, and I know regionally you're in the streets. I know you're quasi-regionally in the streets, but what are we hearing about the 2020? What's going on in the streets?
Do you want to go by ward by ward?
I was asking a generic question. You can go wherever you want to go. This is Always Real Talk. We keep it real here.
Okay, so we'll talk about Ward 2 since he's so familiar with the situation. And definitely Jeff can go into detail as much as he wants in terms of Jack Evans. But we know that Jack Evans is in trouble. Here are the names I'm hearing. I'm hearing that John Fanning, who is an advisory neighborhood commissioner in Ward 2, is very seriously being courted to challenge Jack. Now, we all know about Patrick Kennedy, another ANC, who is being courted. Now, here's what I'm hearing under the rumblings, that Dr. William Kennedy Smith is being talked to in terms of running for the Ward 2 seat. And hey, he is a Kennedy. He is the son of Gene Kennedy. Teddy and John and Robert's sister. Mm-hmm. And that Kennedy money coming into the district would be very, very interesting in politics.
Interesting. That's what the streets are talking about. Anderson, what you hearing?
Well, with regard to Ward 2, I did note that at the ANC meeting the other night, Jack got a really nice welcome, and then Dr. Smith, Kennedy Smith, was one of the people who welcomed him warmly. So I'm not holding my breath to see him in the race. It's interesting. I didn't know about Fanning. The other thing that I heard about I think just last week, the Democratic State Committee took a vote, and they're unhappy with Councilman Evans, and they voted along the lines of 26 to 22. He survived a challenge of them calling for a resignation from the state committee and from being the national committee representative of the state committee. 11 abstentions out of some 80 some odd committee people. That's not a really strong showing for him. I mean, if he only got 26 votes to stay in. At the same time, some of these same people started some sort of effort called Sack Jack. And they're out there gathering information, and they're going to try to use that information in the race, whoever the preferred candidate is, to challenge him. And then on top of that, there's a recall effort.
Yeah.
And I think that they still need to get their petitions so that they can qualify for a recall effort. And the same people with Sac Jack are going to be out on the lines with the recall people knocking on doors, you know, and they're looking for 5,000 votes because that's what they think will do it.
Yeah.
And there's 70,000 people in the ward or something like that. So I don't know. I mean, this is what I heard just today from people inside that movement.
Well, the city's definitely bigger than one ward, though.
That's true.
What else are we hearing out there?
Well, in Ward 7, you had that very interesting, slate of Democratic State Committee members. Didn't they? There was perceived at first as a defeat for Councilman Gray.
Right.
Because his slate did not do well.
They didn't do well.
I was also told that may have been overblown, and it may have just been a lack of attention to the race on behalf of his slate, and that they weren't really focused enough.
Well, I can tell you, I was there, and it was a lot of people that came out. I mean, I was amazed at the number of people that was out, and they came all the way to the doors were shut. People were still trying to get there when the doors were shut. Of course, they couldn't get in, but I don't know what was going on, but there was a lot of energy around that particular election in Ward 7, and I haven't seen that in a very long time. It was very energized out there, packed and energized, and hats off to the new slate that won, because they did win, right? So at the end of the day, they got people out, they got people excited, they had a message that made sense and resonated, and people came out and voted for it.
So James, what do you think though? We're starting to see a generational divide on the council, and they're starting to vote that way too, on the lottery, for instance, on sports betting. You had all the senior members lining up in favor of it. You had the progressives and the younger members. Do you think that there's a bona fide movement that's going to be looking to successfully unseat some of our older incumbents on the council?
Yes. In Ward 7, let me tell you what's going on in Ward 7. You have a young man by the name of Villarreal Johnson, who is an advisory neighborhood commissioner. He is secretly and quietly being courted by the Green Team in order to challenge Vincent Gray.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Now here's the thing. Vincent Gray has not said explicitly that he's going to run for re-election. We are assuming that he is, but he has not explicitly said he was going to run for re-election. You're looking at Villarreal Johnson. You're looking at Ambrose Lane, who possibly may jump into the race. And so you just have a lot of people talking at this particular point. But I do know that VJ, I call him VJ, has already quietly lining up, support for that. And then there's Yvette Alexander. Now, I doubt I want to talk about her later, but I know she's going to support VJ and get her group behind VJ in terms of trying to get Vincent Gray out. Also, I'm hearing in the less affluent parts of Ward 7, they are not happy with Vincent Gray. Now, everybody knows in Ward 7 is Hillcrest and Penn Branch, and then everybody else follows.
Right.
That may not be the case now.
Well, no, you got Dean. Well, you got a lot of great. You know, I live in Ward 7.
Yes, I know you live in Ward 7.
In here, but I mean, it's not just those two neighborhoods, but it's more neighborhoods than that. People try to classify this like it's only these two neighborhoods. No, it's a lot bigger than those two neighborhoods. But it's interesting. That's what you're hearing on the streets. Interesting. That's what you. I mean, do you find any Trump supporters out there in the streets where you are?
No.
Not one.
I know of one, Ralph Chittums.
Yes.
But that's it.
That's it.
There's a good story there that I've wanted to do, and that is some of our conservative veteran politics and politics watchers from the black community, conservative men and women, Republicans. I think that's a good story because there's a discrete kind of core of people that are really staunch, and I think that's interesting. They go against the grain.
Yeah, what are people saying about these? I think maybe I should just run for president too. I can make it like 20. You want to run? You want? It's all just well run. But what are they saying about the? And it's good to hear what local people are saying about the president because they have 21 candidates on the Democratic side. I mean, are you guys hearing anything about that?
Well, there's a lot of energy around Howard University about Kamala Harris because she went to Howard University. But other than the others,
Do you think it's because she went to Howard or she's a qualified individual.
Well, she's a qualified individual, but she went to Howard,
Well,
so that's why
I mean,
that area
so-
around there support.
But if she did go to Howard, would you think they still would be supporting her in such an energized way?
Not necessarily in an energized way, but it really helps that she went to HU. So
It's tough to run as a prosecutor, as a former prosecutor, because there's going to be people out there that didn't forget some of the positions you took on law enforcement, and she didn't get there where she is by being soft on crime.
that is true. That is very
Well,
true.
that's true. Well, they have, I've been hearing all these different stuff. People are calling. People are saying, "Hey, I want to run for this. I want to run for that." Prince George's County, there's a lot of people that are talking about trying to get in different races out there in the county. We have a new Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House.
And I heard there was some back and forth because I was looking at social media, and it was some people were happy, then people were not happy because people did not stand up for was it Derek Davis who was running?
Derek Davis.
He was running in the Prince George's County, and they were like, how are people in the Prince George's County not supporting one of their own from the county?
Well, Prince George's County's politics runs kind of deep, and it all depends on who Steny Hoyer and who Mike Miller and who that group likes. And so
you're saying they're puppets? I mean,
no.
I mean, you just
No, these are good
you said
independent
whoever they
people.
like, so they don't like them, then they don't. I don't
Well, I'm not gonna say that if you don't support, if Steny doesn't like you or Mike Miller doesn't like you, you won't get elected. I'm not gonna say that. I will say this, and I want to make a good point about that. Yes, Prince Georgians are disappointed that Derek Davis did not win the speakership. But they may be a little bit more angry the fact that Adrian Jones did win. Okay, she's the first woman, she's the first black, yay! But she's from Baltimore County. And let me tell you what they do in Annapolis, Chairman Brown. Baltimore sticks together. Baltimore County and Baltimore sticks together in the General Assembly. Whereas Prince George's County, as you just alluded to, kind of separates. So many Prince Georgians are thinking, yeah, Adrian Jones is going to make sure she takes care of Baltimore County and then Baltimore City and, the rest of the state. That's the concern that they have.
Well, I think that's kind of valid. I mean, if I'm the speaker, you got to take care of where you live.
Well, the thing is that you are speaker of the
I'm saying,
House of
but if you don't take where you live, you won't be the speaker because you won't be there.
Well, see, many African Americans in Maryland don't see it that way.
Okay. Well, that's why we're talking about what's going on in the streets. You hear it, you see it on social media, you see what's happening, you see what's going on. Well, let me tell you, I want to thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, James. Always good to have you on. We look forward to getting you both back on. We're going to continue about always real talk every single Friday.